There's a version of horror we don't talk about often. Not the kind that runs fast, not the kind that fights back, but the kind that realizes, quietly, that the world was never built for them to survive. Chapter 4 lives in that realization. This is the chapter where fear isn't sudden, it's logical. I wrote chapter 4 to explore vulnerability that doesn't look cinematic. This character isn't unprepared because she made the wrong choices in the moment. She's unprepared because her body limits her before the danger ever arrives. In most survival stories, bodies are assumed to be capable. They run, they fight, they adapt. I wanted to write a chapter that questions that assumption because catastrophe doesn't arrive equally, and survival is rarely fair. This chapter isn't about weight, it's about dependence, about what happens when survival requires movement, speed, or strength, and you don't have access to any of those things. The horror here isn't the creatures, it's the math. How long can you stand? How far can you go? What happens if the person who helps you disappears? This chapter asks a difficult question. What does survival look like when independence is already gone? There are no dramatic reveals in this chapter, no heroic transformations, no sudden bursts of ability. Everything unfolds slowly. Pain, fatigue, routine. That pacing was intentional because for many people, danger doesn't explode into their lives. It creeps in while they're tired, while they're hungry, while they're already struggling to get through the day. This chapter is written to feel heavy because the body feels heavy. At the center of this chapter is reliance. Someone else holding the keys, someone else controlling mobility, someone else being the bridge between safety and exposure. And when the bridge disappears, there's no explanation. I didn't write answers into this moment on purpose, because abandonment, real abandonment, rarely comes with clarity. Sometimes it just leaves you alone with the consequences. If you're a writer, chapter 4 is about constraint as tension. Instead of asking, what can my character do? Ask, what can't they do? And why? Limitations create stakes faster than danger ever will. Bodies, health, dependency, environment. All of these can be sources of horror without adding a single monster. The more grounded the limitation, the more unsettling the story becomes because readers recognize it. Chapter 4 isn't about strength. It's about endurance, about surviving not because you're the fastest or the strongest, but because you refuse to stop moving, even when the world makes that nearly impossible. Survival of the fittest assumes fairness. This chapter challenges that. This is chapter 4, and this is where survival